Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Podcast. My name is Gary Buechler or Peter Brady. I don't know. A little voice cracking there.
It's that time.
It's that time. Going through puberty again at 50. What's up? I'm live in San Francisco, coming to you from nerdrotic.com. And down in San Diego is my good friend and co-host, Dennis Bithoulkas. What is up, man?
Nothing much. We're just discussing life, the universe, and everything.
Oh, the book?
No.
Or just life?
You and I.
Oh, yeah, we were. We were doing story time, which we cannot share. Maybe that'll be for the patrons. No, I'm saving that one because that's going to get us a lot of clicks. But that's going to be for like an anniversary episode and when I'm owning my own comic store and don't have to answer to any bosses anymore. Because we've obviously doxed ourselves. Hey, so we made an impact and 2 people have downvoted our fucking video. So
yay!
We win.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. I don't know why. Maybe my ex-wife has 2 accounts now. Elaine, you got a bunch of money, okay? What are you tripping for? Jesus.
It's John because he's not on tonight.
Oh, it is.
Joined forces with Elaine.
He did. Oh, boy. Elaine! Sorry. A little graduate reference there. How is everybody? Let me go find the chat. So we're talking about Jessica. Oh, my God. Viking bitch. You gave us $2.
Yes.
And she says, F those. Fuck those 2 people that downvoted this video. Damn right. Exactly. She's got our back. That's all right. So we're talking about Jessica Jones. We're not gonna recap everything like we usually do. We're just here to chat about the episodes 7 through 13, how we felt about the series, our favorite parts, our not favorite parts, and
so we're gonna run through 6 through 13 really quickly. Basically, what happens is they find the doctor. They find out that the killer is her mom. Patsy is jealous of superpowers. So she goes to the doctor to go get superpowers, which Jessica finds out about, stops it. Patsy goes to the hospital. Then she ends up teaming up with her mom. They're on the run. They save a couple of people. And then Patsy comes out of a coma, shoots Jessica's mom. And in the meantime, the Purple Man shows up for 1 episode as well. And it's all in her head, of course, that we find out the Purple Man is there. And there we go. That's all we got. And and Malcolm ends up joining the dark side. He goes over to Price Chang to become a lackey there. And Jerry gets taken for a sucker and ends up turning the people that stole all her money against each other and having one kill the other and then turning that person into the cops.
That was the best part of the whole second half to me. That resolution right there was pretty badass. That was Hogarth, who is clearly like she backs the good guys, but she is not a good guy at all. I loved the whole yoga scene.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little, yeah.
That was a little much. So Jessica Jones season 2. I didn't enjoy it very much. I don't want to watch this again. It was good to watch once. The performances, it was. I mean, Kristen Ritter,
the story.
Kristen Ritter was great to a point, and I think the story held her back. Her performance is good. She did the best she could with some pretty, I mean, it was just a Debbie Downer show. Okay. I'm sorry. And, it's funny. I was watching a review today on GameSpot Universe's YouTube channel, which is not the best. It used to be better. Not a big fan of the new host they have. And they gave a very rare bad review for something. And, dude, they got so many downvotes. It was so funny. Oh my God. The downvotes on their video was ridiculous. It was like 3-1. I don't know if it's still that way, but that was that way this morning. And I guess it's kind of because Jessica Jones is kind of playing to their crowd. I like season 1 quite a bit. I think it's the second or third. It's the third best thing out of Netflix to me. Daredevil season 1 and 2 are great. I don't know how you feel. I know you like season 2 of Daredevil more than season 1.
I like season 2 of Daredevil more than season 1. There are, I mean, season 1 is great. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
there's just something about season 2 that's just, especially that Punisher fight scene. I mean, dude, that thing, it rivals the hallway scene in season 1 of Daredevil.
Oh yeah, the one in the prison. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was crazy.
And, and Luke Cage also has, a special place in my heart, because it's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, the first half of Luke Cage is great, and then just kind of loses it afterwards. But I can't wait for season 2. So I think we'll get more of an even season. With Jessica Jones, I think they tried to do something different. There's no villain. There's no clear-cut villain.
Yeah, there is no villain actually. It's a gray area, and it's more about dealing with insecurities and insecurities and false notions of who people are is really what it is. What you see yourself as isn't who you are. Kind of.
It's kind of like Counterpart. Sometimes you got to love the lie, man. It's I mean, I also see it as almost a mirror of the plot of The Punisher, dealing with PTSD.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that too. There was a lot crammed up. That's why it was blandly confusing. Okay, because they set up a lot of things that would have been better. I agree with Dennis. I would have loved to have seen her being famous and dealing with that way, and like, because there's a funny way you can deal with that, and there's a serious way, and this definitely had little bits of humor, but not as much. And I know the first season was dark. Okay, we were dealing with some dark stuff, but I think it would have been challenging to like make this. You could still do dark and funny. There's many ways to do it. I would have liked to see more than that. Not that I wanted a riotous knee slapping Jessica Jones. Okay, I think the detective stuff was not there. There wasn't any big mysteries going on. There were some pretty good payoffs, like I said, the Hogarth one.
Mm-hmm.
But the ending was just it was such a downer. I was like, and the resolution is supposed to be her sitting with her. All her friends have left her, and so her new boyfriend is the ex-felon who's making fake IDs to keep his son around.
Yeah.
So that's not a happy ending.
No, it wasn't. And it's also telling. I mean, Apple Crow, I agree with you. He said, and it seemed weird to bring back her memory of Kilgrave and then have him disappear again. Yeah, it was kind of weird where they brought it in. I was thinking back on it, and it was cool. It was actually a really cool episode, but at the same time, it just seemed very weird to bring him back in for just this one episode and then have her forget about it again, or put it aside again. I know it was because she killed the guard. But it just
it was ridiculous. For one, it was clear that they only could get him for an episode or two, and they were doing the purple light thing all the way back to the Defenders. Okay, if you go, and I didn't notice it until I saw a scene when they were all in the Chinese restaurant, the Defenders. There's a purple light in the background, and they continued it. They didn't do it every scene Jessica was in. They were doing the purple light in scenes Jessica wasn't in. So they were planting it throughout the entire series, and they continued doing it after Kilgrave left. And I am completely confused as to why they were doing that. Other than this is going to be a dark moment for Jessica, a turning point. So we're going to do purple light. Well, what does that got to do with, anything? And it was fan service to bring David Tennant back. As great as it was to see him back, the story could have done without it. It was, especially when they just brought him in for one episode. It was just fan service. And
like
go ahead.
RoboBrain 10,000 says it would have been cool if they had the angel on her shoulder, Kilgrave, every other episode.
That's what I was just gonna say. Most of the series, not every episode, but let's say 5-6 episodes.
Yeah, a little bit here and there, like oh, you're fucking up again, and he disappears. Oh, didn't that feel good to kill that person again? And he kind of disappears again. Just to kind of taunt her.
Yeah, and then her getting rid of him would have had bigger impact. And I mean, he's clearly not gone away. I mean, he said, "I'll be here if you need me." So that was confusing. I mean, not it was confusing like why they made that decision. I mean, it must have been budgetary and scheduling, and that's all they can get. David Tennant is very busy right now. He's like doing 3 things.
And
he's
I would have liked to have seen the other thing. There's another theory out there going on right now that I read that Jerry Hogarth, the way they set her up, with the illness and everything, and being a lawyer that she is, and now she has her own private practice, is they're setting her up to be She-Hulk.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
That's what I said too. And I'm like, well, one, she's not likable, and Jen Walters is a likable person and a likable character, and yeah, Jerry Hogarth is not that person.
And I'm gonna go there, and she's too old.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can have older Hulks, but she's too old now. No, they're not setting it up because She-Hulk rights are wrapped up with Universal. So that would be very tricky. I guess you could have her guest and stuff, and B, they're saving her for the movies. There's lots of She-Hulk scuttlebutt, and C, you can't do that kind of CGI on, and it would have to be like prosthetic / CGI.
Yeah, it would have to be kind of like what they do with League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Hyde.
Yeah, that was that's some crazy Tumblr Reddit stuff going on right there. Which hey, I'm a fan of, but yeah, no.
I don't know if it's telling or not, but my favorite episode was I Want Your Cray Cray.
That was my favorite episode too.
There's the flashback, and then that song, they got to release it as a single, man. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
But it was funny at the same time.
And it's so like it's so early 2000s, late 90s, yeah, too. Oh, so then
very popular.
Good. But that was my favorite. The whole boyfriend thing, and that was a great episode. That was messed up, but but it was also, I mean, as good as it was too much. It was like all this crap has happened to Jessica. Wait, we got one more.
Exactly.
It's like, what else are we gonna find out? Like, she found a bunch of dogs and they all got run over and by an ice cream truck, and she can't eat ice cream anymore, and she can't look at puppies anymore. What's next? Shit.
Yeah.
No, I totally understand why she drinks.
And I like how they also explain that her powers, she has to drink more than the average person. That's why her alcohol expenses are so much.
Yeah. Yep. I like that. That little comment by Mom, and this is probably just in their universe, thinking that they are the 2 most powerful women in the world. And the nerd in me went, no, Scarlet Witch is in this universe.
And Captain Marvel.
We haven't seen her yet, so she's disappeared apparently. Mm-hmm. But you're right. No, but as so far of what we've seen, Scarlet Witch could make Mom beat herself to death. So no way, Scarlet Witch.
And then also the freaking tease for Hellcat again.
Dude.
And it
was catching a cell phone on her foot.
Yeah.
That's what I waited 2 seasons for. And then she just cocked her eyebrow, and then we're never going to see Hellcat. I just don't think we are. I don't think we're going to get a season 3. No,
we're not getting a season 3. I would be very surprised if this does Iron Fist numbers, to tell you the truth. I really do want, I want this character to actually do well. I really like Alias. It's a great comic.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the character, and I love Kristen Ritter. She's doing such a great job. I love all the actors in it and everything, but the story, god damn, that story just sucked the life out of everything.
It did. It was sad. And yeah, I had to trudge my way through this. I if it wasn't for the podcast, I wouldn't have finished it. If I did, it would have been way later. There was I kept on thinking of other things to do before I finished the last couple episodes. I gotta watch first episode of Constantine again.
I soldiered through it. I just went through, and because on Saturday I watched episodes 2 through 10. Is what I did. So yeah, I watched 8 hours worth of that on Saturday, and then I finished the last 3 on Sunday.
And I was guesting on a live stream last night. We were talking about it a little bit, non-spoiler, and comics division mentioned something that made a lot of made good sense, that this was the most episodic of any of the Netflix series.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were entire episodes that could have just been completely cut out, that were, you know, well, the one with her boyfriend, that was like pretty enclosed episode. It had little tidbits that carried, but it really wasn't much for the story, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the chat thinks of this. I mean,
A lot of them are agreeing with us on this. So let me scroll back up here a little bit.
I don't like coming on here and talking shit about a show. I mean, I like talking to you. I love podcasts, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I'd rather like talk about a show that was good. So I hope if this is the first time you're seeing us, this is, you know, we're not like this all the time, but we are. I mean, honest, I'm not gonna like watch something and, you know.
Viking Bitch says the last 3 episodes of Jessica Jones were the best, but overall I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, because I watched the last 3 episodes and they flow together like one episode. So yeah, they probably were the most well written of the, you know, that's because they had to end everything. But again, there was no Hellcat, man. That's the thing that just gets me. No Hellcat on that at all, and just it's just a waste of time on that part. And Apple Crow says, I kind of feel like the ending was way too stretched out.
Yeah, way stretched out. They're like, oh crap, we have 3 more episodes to fill. Yeah, this would, again, like most of these series, 8 to 10 episodes would have been much better.
And remember, we were talking about padding, and you were saying this too, and I noticed it as well. You see a lot of people in the background, especially the guards, like the guards and the mom, you know, in the prison cell with the mom. They're standing there in the background, and the extras, and they're like, okay, I need to scratch my nose now. And you can tell they're just standing there. Can I scratch my nose?
Right?
I gotta scratch my nose now.
Don't you hate it when you get an itch? Like right at the time when you can't itch, it's the worst.
And it's held for too long. So there's a lot of scenes where they're held for too long, and you
walking
can tell
up to doors.
Yeah. I mean, just, you know, they're walking down the hallway, like literally walking down. How many times did people walk up and down Jessica's hallway without saying a word?
We've got the establishing shot. We've got the mental map of what her building is. That's called mental mapping, by the way, when they do establishing and stuff. I think Viking Bitch, Abacro says, I think Viking Bitch should be a strong female comic book. Viking Bitch would be an awesome comic book. I'd have to co-write it with somebody, though, somebody who could spell.
Viking Bitch actually has to go. So good night.
Good night, Viking Bitch. You will be missed.
She had to get up early to teach a class.
Okay. Yeah. All those. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'll write it to start a new comic store. Yeah. We could start a Kickstarter. But then I would have to do it.
Yes, this is true.
I would have to quit my job.
And Giodi says, I think the biggest problem was they seemed to have an arc that they could have been resolved in less than 13 episodes, but they stretched it out, and it could have been far better too.
Yeah, because Lost in this were good performances. Were good, but I mean, it did again the stretching. I guess that's the theme of the end. They stretched the performances. They stretched the story. Everybody's raving about Trish. Trish's strung outness got old to me. You know, by the 5th or 6th episode, and it just went on and on and on and on. And then they, you know, you saw her become Hellcat. We all knew she was going to become Hellcat, and they waited till the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they come out and go, you know, and this is the creators going, we told another origin story. That's all we're getting from Netflix series is season after season. We're getting origin stories, but we're never getting established superheroes and characters. Yeah. And we're way beyond the origin story here in the superhero stuff.
And, you know, they even made a joke about the spandex thing, you know, when they're driving the truck, her and her mom. And she goes, what, do you want a spandex suit? She goes, you know, I'd rock the spandex kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, well, why don't you do it then? Because
do it.
You know, it'd be a little interesting.
I'm tired of seeing superheroes in like, you know, secondhand jeans and old sweats. And some of the comments I saw in the GameSpot universe, because I was just fascinated that so many people hated this video. So of course I read the comments down there. And a lot of people were defending it, just going, "You don't understand," and I hate it. And we've talked about that. You don't understand the story. Oh my god, having a villain in a superhero story is so tripe. And but it's like, shut up, okay? Like if you are at the point where your superhero story can't be a villain, it's got to be some postmodern crap of like moral grays all the time and just like two people fighting and then coming to a resolution that they can never change anything. That's not a fucking superhero story, okay? Don't sell us, don't market to the crowd of superheroes, which is good fighting bad, or sometimes bad fighting bad, or good bad fighting bad good, or whatever, but it's some form of good fighting bad. It's not like, oh, we're gonna fight to a stalemate and realize that we can't change anything and go smoke pot somewhere or something. I don't fucking know.
I have a problem. I have a problem too. I propose that we make a referendum about this and go bring it to committee. That was called Star Wars Episode 1, by the way.
Yes.
And we all know how that turned out.
Sent out, buried in soft peat for 3 days, and recycled as firelighters. Sorry. Douglas Adams right there.
Oh man. Here we go. A. Carter says, loved Jessica Jones season 2. I could have used more Kilgrave and more episodes, maybe having him increase more and more until she hit rock bottom. That would have been interesting.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you liked it. I mean, as a drama, I would understand. I'm just not the biggest fan of dramas. I will come out and say that right now. So it's not my favorite thing to watch. But if you're into dramas, this would be a very compelling one. It's kind of a drama with some powers. We really didn't, like the first time we saw Jessica, like really when she jumped off the Ferris wheel, was, I'm like, oh yeah, she has superpowers.
Well, no, we saw her jump off out of a window.
A couple things, yeah, but I mean, not much.
Nothing much. I mean, we saw her crush a chair.
Yeah, when the superpowers are you're crushing a chair and you're jumping out of a window. And I know part of the story she doesn't want to use them and but then make the story more compelling. And dude, there was a lot more comic they could have adapted, and they decided not to.
Yeah,
and that was my biggest complaint. And I'll say it now. A little bit of spoilers from the comics. Her and Luke Cage have a relationship in the comic books, a complicated, sophisticated adult relationship that's actually compelling, and they eventually have a kid. And Luke is in the Avengers, and she is there. She's in the Avengers Tower while they're having a kid. Now, I'm not saying you do the Avengers thing, but you could definitely have done the Defenders or Heroes for Hire thing. Yeah, do Heroes for Hire and have her there. See, I'm with Dennis. I don't want to lose this character. I like this character a lot. And I don't want to not see her again. And we're not getting a Defenders too. Hopefully they could. She's like the one who doesn't make cameos in other shows. I would like to see her in a Daredevil or in a Luke Cage or something. I need something, because not happy.
She needs to be in Luke Cage season 2 is really what needs to happen.
Yep. They need to at least start their relationship or insinuate that they're going to have one, even though they're not going to ever show it on Netflix. Because if the Disney thing goes down, like they're not going to continue it like this.
Yeah.
So
no. And I agree with Applecrow. He says they need to kill off Mom earlier and bring Kilgrave in strong there. They needed to kill Mom. They needed to first just introduce Mom in like the 3rd episode, kill her off by the 7th episode, and then have Jessica start working towards resolving her PTSD, if you will, her problems, that kind of thing. Not solving them, but working towards, them, because you never get rid of them, of course, entirely. And that way we can have a kind of a functional Jessica Jones at the end of the series. So you can have her work with somebody else, like, Luke Cage, Heroes for Hire, something like that. So you can bring her in instead of, okay, we've got a damaged character again that we have to deal with in season 3, if there's going to be a season 3, but we don't think there is going to be one now because this one was just kind of going. No,
here's what I would have done. I'd have stuck with the mom story. It was interesting, like you guys said, and I would have stuck with the formula from Netflix at episode 6 or 7. Mom gets killed by Trish. Trish turns into Hellcat, and then it's Jessica versus Hellcat for the rest of the series. Straight up, Trish gets a costume, like embraces the superhero thing, but starts going like kind of Simpson vigilante, going like way too nuts because she doesn't know how to deal with the power. And you think about it, like if you want to get grounded in reality, like what a superpower does to your mind, what it does to your confidence, like it could, when an actor gets famous, some actors get famous too quickly, it all goes to their head, something to that effect. And like Jessica's got to go save her friend.
Yeah.
And they end up like having a superhero fight at the end and almost killing each other and then like hugging it out like girls tend to do. So, yeah, that would have been really interesting, I think. And plus we would have gotten Hellcat, which I love.
Yeah.
I love Hellcat.
And then you wouldn't have your villain either. So you could still have your story without your villain.
Yeah.
And still make it good.
Yep. Yeah. Hellcat was a defender.
Yeah.
And she did die. That is part of her origin. She did come back from the dead.
So. Well, yeah, that was a little throwback too, with the doctor saying you used up 2 of your 9 lives.
Yep. But again, it was tease, and it felt like we were in the early 2000s again with superheroes. We're lucky if we get a mask, or like season 1 of Arrow. It's like, oh well, he says he's supposed to be Green Arrow for one.
Well, now he's Green Arrow, so
good. The show should be called Green Arrow. Embrace superheroes. We're like way into this. Okay,
I know, really. Abercrow says even give Hellcat a publicist like Mystery Men.
Yeah, yes, straight up. And then and it all goes to her head, and she gets corrupted by like agents and stuff, kind of like what's happened to Stan Lee right now. And you could have brought in Hogarth. You could have made Hogarth a villain, like the villain manipulating her, and she's like working with Kingpin, and you have Kingpin. Like, I'm going crazy places with this, and it could have tied in a Daredevil, and everybody would have been great. Mr. Neely says, I like that, Gary, especially if you use Trish's mom as the catalyst for all the dark impulses fostered in Patsy / Trish. We'll add that on to our script.
Yes,
we're gonna pitch this shit.
And I want to say welcome back, Mr. Neely. He just got out of the hospital, and I just want to say good job that you got out of there. I know you're going to be going in and out, but still glad to see that you're back out.
Glad to see that you're out. Feel better, my friend.
Yeah.
Pacing, the bane of Marvel Netflix, right?
Yeah. It's circling is what it is. It's always circling the superhero thing, and it never embraces it. It just always circles around, except for Daredevil. Daredevil's the only one that's actually embraced it. They're like, okay, here's the costume. We're putting on the costume. Luke Cage doesn't have a costume, so
that's fine.
Yeah. Iron Fist, he needs to have a damn costume.
Yeah, especially if you're going to have a subpar actor playing him. They need a lot of fluff around to kind of take us away from that. So,
and not only that, considering that costume covers most of his head, you can put in stunt doubles quite easily with that have better martial arts skills.
Yep. Yeah, which is another mind-boggling decision. Like, you actually need a mask on this guy. So, I would like to see Jessica Jones use more powers. I would. And they definitely, if they get a season 3, I do not want to see her miserable. Like, you could start off a couple more episodes, but she really needs to start getting happier. I'm going to stop caring. Because she gets happier in the comic books. Okay. Yeah. It doesn't just stay that way forever.
Like you saw her at the end of the first season, like it looked like she was going to stop drinking. And then we come back to season 2 and she's drinking again.
Yeah.
And then we see at the end of this season, it looks like she's going to stop drinking again, but she starts drinking. And I'm like, okay. So
she needs it. Yeah. She needs to go to a meeting big time.
Yeah.
She's talking about Trish's sponsor.
Yeah. We never have any resolution with her at all. And that's the thing that's also just kind of annoying. She doesn't grow as a character.
Nope.
And that's what you need, unfortunately.
So yeah, it's a bummer. I was looking forward to this. I know Dennis was looking forward to this. And the bigger thing is we thought Netflix had kind of righted the ship with Punisher. and I don't know now. I just don't know. It really feels like well, I don't even think it feels like. I think it's a fact that they've reined in the budgets on all these.
Oh yeah,
so
big time, reigned in the budgets.
The Jody thinks I had a great idea. He's a great idea, Gary, having Trish approach the whole superhero shtick the way she approached her celebrity career. Exactly, right?
Yeah. And that was the whole thing. Like I was saying too, you tie it in with Jessica being famous at the beginning of this because of all the stuff that she did with the Defenders and having to deal with that, and Trish kind of feeding off of that, trying to help Jessica, with Jess not really wanting to be the, in the spotlight, and then having Trish become Hellcat and having everything like Gary just said go down, and then having that whole antagonistic thing going on between them, and having it resolved finally, and then them working together at the end.
Yeah. There's a couple of great comments here. First is Mr. Neely said, I need to see Jess cross paths with Luke Cage more in her show, especially since he was introduced there. Agreed. Yeah, we were just talking about that the relationship with Luke Cage is so important to this character. To avoid it is not only a huge mistake, it makes your character kind of pointless. You couldn't have gone on with her. That's why Bendis did the relationship with Luke Cage, because like where else could you have gone with that character after she went through with Kilgrave? You either make her happy and just retire, and how do you keep her in superheroes? Because she's not going to go back to being a superhero. Well, you have her have a relationship with one and keep her alias Enterprise, and then she's connected to the Avengers. And that, I'm not saying, and we're sorry repeating ourselves, but make her associated with Heroes for Hire instead of the Avengers, and that way you can bring in Misty Knight and all Iron Fist, and she can be dealing with that stuff. That would have been great. And
we already have Misty Knight, so and I'm really hoping they bring Misty Knight into season 2 of Luke Cage.
I think they are. I think I saw pictures.
Okay, good. Because
no, she was great.
Damn, man, she's awesome. Yeah.
And then Jody said, Viking Bitch pointed out that Jessica Jones showrunner's idea of a strong female was to give Jessica Jones, I don't know if I can say these words together, a toxic personality. I'll say a toxic personality. And that's the way I'll stake it. Yes, there are toxic male personalities and there's toxic female personalities. But yes, she definitely was, she does act like a dude.
Yeah.
There are moments she pulls out her girl card, but she acts like a dude. But I could also say she acts like a drunk. I've seen lots of women who act like that, minus the superpowers, of course.
Neely says here, sounds like the usual sophomore slump after a stellar first season. Hope they get a third season and it doesn't take 3 years to get it.
Agreed.
Yes. Yeah. And Rough Girl says, I think you can do a strong female without making every woman in the show suffer so much. Yeah. I mean, honestly, we were just talking about this Ahsoka, an animated character who's a strong female character who's had one of the best arcs in Star Wars in decades. And she suffered a bit, but not to the degree that Jessica has in this series in just 2 seasons.
Yeah. And I know what you guys are saying, so I'm not trying to poo-poo what you guys are saying. I really dislike the term strong female, blah, 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 because that insinuates that other women are weak. So you don't hear strong male. It's just a good female, a good character that happens to be female. And that's well-written. That's what Ahsoka was in Star Wars Rebels. And for the most part, Jessica Jones was in season 1. But I also pointed out, and I know it's part of her character. Okay. So, and everybody deals with things differently, and there's male characters, but I'm going to point out again, this is why we love Peter Parker. This is why he's one of my favorite characters, because he's had almost as equally bad crap happen to him throughout his life as Jessica has through hers.
Yeah.
Minus one thing, but still pretty bad stuff. Okay. And he remains good. He doesn't go out and drink. Sometimes he loses his temper, but he remains good. And there are people out like that. That's why they're heroes. Now, Jessica's hero journey is taking a little longer, and they keep putting it off. And I want to see the payoff to Jessica's hero's journey. And I'd like to see her forgive herself. And that's what's frustrating about this, because after this show, like we said, I don't think we're going to get to see that now. So that's even more of a tease on top of what was a kind of a season of a tease. And like, again, I'm going to ask everybody out there, commenters, chatters, the purple light. What the fuck was the purple light for?
Blue light special.
Yeah, right. I mean, we've been seeing it in now through 2 shows, and I know it means something bad's going to happen, but like, is there something I'm missing? Like, is Kilgrave still alive? I know a piece of him like actually living in her brain, or do they just like purple? I don't know. I mean, it's not a bad color, but
Jody says, and Dennis, that would tie into what Trish was doing with her ex-fiance. She didn't really love him. She wanted to be him. Same with Jessica. She doesn't love Jessica, but wants to be her.
Yeah, Trish is not a good person.
No.
And we started out thinking that she was. And it took 2 seasons to realize, oh, you're a terrible friend.
Well, she even admitted to it as well. She even says, yeah, I am jealous of what you have with your powers and everything, and you don't use them for anything, and you could be using them for good. And she goes, that's what I want to do. She goes, I want to make a difference. I actually
think that's a good point. And Mom said it too. I think Jessica's being very self-serving, and guilt is a crutch. It is. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I totally see their point with that. Like, if you have those powers, you should be using them for good and saving people. And if you're not, then
It actually reminded me of the line where she says to her mom, if you say with great powers comes great responsibility, I'm going to throw up all over you. And she goes, yeah, you always were kind of a barfy baby.
Yep. All babies are barfy. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Hey, so okay. Kilgrave's origin. Didn't they insinuate in season 1 that like Jessica and Kilgrave might be connected? So I guess they're not now.
They're not. No.
I thought Kilgrave was going to be part of Leo. I don't know Dr. Carl, but Leoben from BSG.
Malice, Dr. Malice.
Dr. Carl. Yeah. I thought that Kilgrave would have been part of that too, but I guess that it's a different thing now. And maybe they just insinuated it. Maybe I just thought they insinuated it. So I don't know. Again, it's been 3 years. So
he still could be, because I mean, we don't really know how many patients Dr. Malice had treated.
They never said, did they?
No. So there's a lot of people out there, and a lot of them could have powers. So we don't know.
Applecrow says Kilgrave's power was a virus, right? Right. Possible remnants could be collected and brought back. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And maybe Jessica can use that as an alternate power, Jody says, so this season could have been Hellcat's origin story. We could have seen the birth of a supervillain. I know Hellcat is supposed to be a hero, but the way she's written, the way they've written Trish, she's more villainous, really. Yeah, you could have made her a villain that like turns good later. That that's definite possibility.
And I love what Rough Girl says here. She goes, yeah, I get it. They created a superhero movie without making anyone super.
Oh, they flipped the script on us. Man, I guess you know what? We all didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Well, we can't watch Rick and Morty now.
It's a good point, though. It really is that they did make a superhero where no one was super.
No.
She also says it's a good thing she couldn't kill and absorb powers. Jessica would be in trouble, but it would make for an interesting creative storyline.
Hey, Bendover. Long time no see.
Yeah, no, really.
Yeah.
What you been doing, Ben?
What's going on, Bendover? Did you bring your friend Phil McCrevis?
Phil McCracken.
Phil McCracken, IP Nightly.
and their buddies, Neil and Bob.
Oh, wait. What do you call a guy with no arms and no legs lying in front of your door? Matt. Yeah. Sorry, those are bad jokes.
Yeah. What do you call the same guy floating in the ocean?
Bob.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
What do you call the same guy in a hole? Phil.
Yeah. We're gonna be here all week.
We'll stop. That is not as bad as the joke I did last Jessica Jones podcast, which I am still going to hell for.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not going to repeat it.
Nope.
Disability jokes, nice. Hey, you come here for the reviews and the disability jokes.
Yep. Apple Crow says they could have brought Hellcat in to upstage Jessica Jones and even changed the intro.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There's purple everywhere. It was just to suck us into the show. We've got Tenet coming, and like that would have been better as a surprise, like just not saying anything. I don't know if you can pull that off nowadays, but stay for the disability jokes. There you go. We'll leave the light on for you, but you won't be able to reach it because you ain't got no arms.
Oh.
Sorry.
Wow.
Oh God.
So I think we put this one to bed. What do you think?
I don't know. Let's we'll run over the chat. Yeah, this one's a bet. I don't want to be negative forever on this.
I don't want to bash on it either. Yeah.
So. I hope we get a season 3. I hope nothing against Melissa Rosenberg. She did a good job the first season. So I don't know how many politics were involved in this one behind the scenes. I heard there was quite a bit. So that might have had something to do with it. I don't know. But I hope we get another one. And we're getting 2 more Netflix series this year that I'm very excited about. So we got Luke Cage is June 22nd.
June 22nd.
So that is not far away. So that's great. And then Daredevil season 3, Born Again. Holy crap.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna be okay as far as nerds. So, we can't get everything right. There was some good stuff in this, and if you enjoyed it, that's cool. I totally get it. It wasn't made for us. It wasn't made for superhero fans.
No.
I mean, that's just flat out. This was made for people who are not superhero fans.
Jody says, so Gary and Dennis, how would you have written season 2 of Jessica Jones? Kind of we've been talking about it throughout this thing where we would have started it off, like I said, with Jessica Jones being famous because of the whole thing that happened with the Defenders and having to deal with that fame, because they started that in the first episode a little bit where, hey, you're that girl from the Defenders that saved the city, and having all these clients coming in, and they never kind of built on that. It was an interesting idea, and just having her not handling fame all that well, but Patsy or Trish, knows what that fame is and is helping her, but is also jealous of it at the same time because hers is waning. And you can still do the whole mom story, but end that by episode 6, giving Trish those powers, the Hellcat powers, and then having her taking over the mantle of being a hero in the city, and just having it go to her head to the point where Jessica has to jump in to kind of save Trish from herself, but also having to step up and become a hero again, kind of thing, and having them duke it out. And in the end, they resolve it and they become heroes in their own right.
That's good. I would have, I like that. I would have gone kind of MCU with it. Since you're not going to do Defenders, I would make the series way more connected. So I would, like I said before, like the first 5 or 6 episodes would be what this entire season was. So after the mom gets killed by Trish goes through some changes. They're estranged, and then she starts realizing she has power. She goes out and gets a costume, a publicist, management, goes through this whole spiel. Jessica is alone. Malcolm has left her. She's got nothing but her boyfriend down the hall. And something happens to him. We'll just say something happens. He gets arrested or something like that. So he's out of the picture, because I just don't think he added much other than being an oily bohunk be there. And then have her battle it out with Hellcat, and Hellcat's powers kind of amassing throughout the season. Like she gets stronger as it goes on. They haven't fully kicked in yet. And by the end, she can like kind of go toe to toe with Jessica. Because Jessica's never done any fight training, and Trish has. So Trish with powers could probably kick Jessica's ass if they had a matching strength. So I would have done that. But I would also have the Hogarth thing connect to the Kingpin somehow. just because I like the Kingpin. So what the fuck? And I'm writing this story. So, and then have that lead into whatever bad guy they're going to loot, like kind of backdoored into Luke Cage. So it's not directly connected to Daredevil. And then we can have this whole underground thing, like the rise of the underground, and like the Kingpin getting all his power back through Hogarth, through whatever, bad guy is in Luke Cage, and then, amassing in Daredevil, and then having the Heroes for Hire having to come and help Daredevil. Like Daredevil tries to do this alone and can't, and, realize he needs friends too, and have Jessica Jones in it. That would be cool. And then you could fix the Defenders by just having a defunct one at the end of Daredevil with Misty Knight and Hellcat, who again, I do believe Daredevil was a Defender for a little while, for like he was in the comic for a couple issues. He wasn't an official member of the team. Luke Cage was a Defender. Hellcat was definitely a Defender. This was in the later days when they kind of powered him down. But that would just be badass, I think. They don't want to connect them, and I understand why, but there's a reason the MCU is so popular, because they haven't made a bad movie. They're not all great, but none of them are out and out bad.
Yeah.
And it's all the superheroes playing with each other. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see standalone movies anymore.
Ghost World, yes. Legion is coming back April 3rd.
Yeah. Are they getting 10? I thought they got more episodes this year.
Yeah, I think they have 10
episodes. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be there. Oh, yeah.
So Jody likes it. He says thunderous applause. Yes, that. That would have been a much better story, and it could have kept us on the edge of our seats the whole time.
Thanks.
I think I don't know if it was mine or yours. So
either one of them, I would watch either one of those.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. I would. They were better than the idea that we had. I'm not like an idea guy. I've just read a lot of comic books, so I just plucked out of like many that I've read. So
Apple Crow says, as a straight male, I will say that guy was hot. He's talking about Oscar.
Oscar was a handsome dude and not a very good actor, but that's okay. He wasn't there for his acting skills.
He was there for a piece of man meat. That's all.
That's okay.
Ghost World says, not sure if I agree with that. You can be a superhero fan, but not need to see the entire show. Just open fan service to the comic super stuff.
No, I don't want super stuff every episode, but you could, you could be a superhero fan, but you still need to see some superhero stuff. And this was so anti-superhero that it kind of took me out of it. Like I said, it might, if I was a person who didn't read comics and wasn't into superheroes and just saw this, I'd probably enjoy it as like a drama. But they're selling it to us. This is being sold to comic book fans. There's a big Marvel label right above her name. Okay, so if you're gonna sell stuff to us, you better like try to sell us what we want.
It would be like doing a Luke Cage show, but make it about Luke Cage just going around
as an Uber driver.
Yeah, as an Uber driver, exactly. Yeah. He doesn't get to use his powers at all, but he's got to go find his next appointment out in Queens or something like that. But his phone for some reason can't get a signal, and he can't find where the next stop is. Or
I really think Logan has influenced a lot of it's going to influence a lot of stuff from here on out, because it's easier to make. Okay, your budgets are going to be way lower, and I think directors and creators are be way more into doing something like this than a big CGI fest. So I think Logan definitely had an influence on Jessica Jones. And Logan is a great way how you kind of do an un-superhero thing, and there was still superhero stuff in it, but it was a lot of drama, and a lot of acting, and but done well. That's a great example of it being done well.
Langley Neely says, you think they could still do Jess versus Trish in season 3? That's if there's a season 3. Yeah, they could definitely do it.
Yeah, I would be so down with that. And I think that's kind of what they were setting up. So
well, yeah, with the whole thing where Jess says, I don't see you as my sister, I see you as the person who killed my mom.
Yep.
So
I don't know if that's out and out enemy, but it's more of like, you're just dead to me.
Yeah,
we're not buds anymore. But exactly. I guess you could take it as like, we are foes. Stay away.
Jody says the rivalry with Trish should have been front and center this season, and Hogarth could have been helping the Kingpin. Maybe they were both in cahoots and were manipulating both Jessica and Trish.
Yeah, because Hogarth is a really complex character,
Mm-hmm.
that really needs to be in more stuff. And and she's not good. I want to see her like on the mend, and see and see her get back to being her. And because we don't know what side she's on her side.
Yeah. And Langley Neely says, I can see Jerry enabling Trish in the wrong ways, using Rand money to create a cottage industry out of the Heroes for Hire idea, but corporatizing it and corrupting it.
Right. And Mr. Neely says that what I said much better and just summed it up is Logan's minimalist approach works when the writing is great. That's it. And they went minimalist in Jessica Jones, and the writing wasn't great. Minimalist is okay. I don't mind that. And great it was. Yes, Logan was great.
I can't watch it ever again, but yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was great. I did end up watching it again.
Yeah,
it's really sad, man. It's so sad.
Depressing, I know. There's actually a great meme that's going around right now that's got a picture of a beat up Logan with the girl, and he's holding up a comic, and it says this man was taking comics to his sick daughter, but he got beat up by a gang of people, but he was able to get one comic back to her. Share and like this if you know. I was just laughing. It was pretty funny.
Oh God.
So Apple Crow says, I was going to say it would be like doing an American Gods spin-off about Salim, the cab driver.
You probably. Oh God. That's funny. Yeah. That's a callback to one of our podcasts too. Yes, that's true. That's a standalone movie, and this is a standalone series at this point. I mean, you know, it didn't feel like season one. Go back and watch season one and see just the difference in tone. I mean, it's more fun, you know, even though it deals with probably darker material.
It does deal with a lot darker, and I think it had a lot to do with David Tennant. Honestly,
oh yeah,
because he plays it with glee and innocence is what it is, even though he's really dark of what he's doing, but he just doesn't realize that he's actually a dark person until almost the end.
He plays it as the 10th Doctor. That's straight up. Kilgrave is an evil 10th Doctor, and I've watched enough. I've watched those episodes enough and over again. Then that's kind of what his approach was. Like, I'm just going to do a dark version of the 10th Doctor, and did it work? So,
and Ghost World says Jessica Jones, a TV show, so it can't really follow the same pacing as Logan, and the stories per episode will have to be different.
Watch it for the first time, says Ghost World. Yes. Tennant brings it, says Edward Brewer. He does every time.
Yeah. Although one episode was not enough.
No, it's not. It's not. I can't wait for Good Omens. That'll be fun when that comes out. So.
Oh man.
Yes. Yeah. Tennant is like the 10th Doctor without the moral scruples to keep himself good. I mean, when he was Kilgrave. Yeah, we got you, Jody. So yeah, we can wrap things up. Sorry about Jessica Jones, everybody. We were sorry to bring you this news. This is not happy news. But we've got happy news because we'll be back tomorrow covering the X-Files, which had an amazing episode last week.
And yeah, hopefully it continues, man, because people really didn't like us for the followers episode.
Oh my God, that was nothing, dude. You should see the crap we got for Star Trek Discovery. John and I got that. Yeah.
Well, I've seen that one. That was
nothing
funny
compared to that X-Files. That X-Files stuff is nothing compared to that. Bring it. I didn't. Yeah, it was. I thought it was okay, the followers episode, but no. The last week was really damn good. It was the best of the new stuff for damn sure. So if
Buckle Teeth needs his own series, man.
Yeah, definitely. So I can't. Yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night, and then Friday we have our Friday night podcast, and it's the whole cycle again. We've got Counterpart the Monday night live stream. We might even do a Sunday afternoon live stream, and then Krypton. Krypton is creeping up on us pretty soon.
The 21st.
Yeah, 21st. We're going to be covering Krypton. So hopefully that's good. I was really down on that show when I first heard about it, and so were you. We were both like, what? That sounds stupid. And then we saw the trailer and we're like, okay, maybe it's okay. But
we saw Brainiac, and then we're like,
yeah,
we
then
need to watch
Brainiac,
this.
I'm like, oh, damn it. I don't know if Goyer can do something good, but we'll see. I did get Counterpart off your recommendation. We'll start it this week, said Ed Brewer. Man, you will not be sorry. That is a damn good show. Anybody who's in the chat will back it up. That is
it's
predictions for Krypton. Jody said, oh, go on. Sorry.
I was going to say easily Counterpart is probably the best new TV show this year.
Yep. Yeah. After the last episode, I was just like, okay, it's great. It hasn't had a bad episode. It hasn't had a bad scene.
No, it hasn't had any slowdowns. It hasn't had any awkwardness. Everything is in its place. Everything is very meticulously mapped out. It is like a game of Go, honestly. Everything is mapped out to a T, and you don't get that in a series, let alone an episode of a good show.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Mr. Robot, this is your show, and I think it might.
Thank you, Rough Girl.
Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
She said, thank you for what you do. Our pleasure. This is so much fun. Jeez. Thank you. So if you're a fan of Mr. Robot, it's in the wheelhouse. Okay. But I think it's actually planned out. No, both those shows are planned out really well. So I can't knock it. So it's not quite as dark as Mr. Robot as far as getting your head bashed in 17 times by a psychotic car salesman
or eating drugs out of urine puke.
I don't even want to talk about that. That's the reason we didn't recap the show originally, because like I saw that and I was like, I'm out late, just because reasons. Counterpart Ed Brewer. Sorry, that was a long one. You will enjoy it very much. I look forward to hearing what you think.
So Jody says predictions for Krypton. It can honestly go either way, to tell you the truth. I have to watch the first episode first before I can kind of give you an idea of where I think it might be going.
Ed Brewer said, because we got $1.99, he's all $2 too much. $1.98 is not enough. You're damn straight. $1.99 podcast right here.
I want my $2.
I want my $2. I'll make a prediction. I hope as good as I think it's going to be, like all of these movies that are dancing around the main character, by season 3, I just want to see fucking Superman. So I hope it's not like that. I hope it makes me forget about Superman. But you had Smallville, and I watched all of Smallville and enjoyed it. By season 3, I was ready for fucking Superman. And they gave it to me. They gave me a Superman about that big. Right? It was like that big.
Yeah.
End. I was so pissed.
It was animated and it was bad. So I wasn't too happy about that. And what we're going to talk about on Friday, we're going to talk about everything.
Everything. We're still working on it.
Mm-hmm.
We're still working on it.
There's a lot of stuff that's out there right now. So
there's also something dropped on Netflix. Some was that Jared Leto? I saw The Outsider or something like that. I'm going to go check that out. I'm also going to check out that Sean Bean Frankenstein show. So I'll probably come back with a little recap of that and see how it is. It looks, cool in English. So I like that stuff.
Yeah, I've been trying to get into Full Metal Alchemist, the live action movie. It was dubbed. That was the only thing. So not dubbed, excuse me, subtitled.
Mm-hmm.
And lately, for some reason, I've been having problems with subtitled movies. I don't know why. So just
getting old.
No, it's not that. It's just I kind of want to be able to hear things as I'm doing it. So I don't know. But anyway,
don't want to read your movies.
I don't want to read my movies anymore. Yeah,
I promise to see Farscape, so I got to make that happen too. for the live stream. So yeah,
you're on your own on that one, man.
It's okay.
God love you.
I go my own way. Is Constantine coming back to DC? I hope so. He was on that, wasn't he? On an episode of Legends of Tomorrow recently? Or?
He was just mentioned on last night's episode.
Yeah.
And he will be back in the season finale Legend of Tomorrow, and I believe the episode before that. So he's going to be in 2 more episodes.
Cool. Then I'll watch 2 more episodes. There you go. I won't know what's going on, but I'll be able to see Constantine. Very happy about that. All right. Any final words there, Dennis?
People of Earth, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out.
And you're right, Ed Brewer. Matt Ryan is Constantine. Yes. And remember, folks, progress, not perfection. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks again.